I get a lot of questions on gun cleaning and what I use and how I do it. Two products I use primarily. I use a can of KR oil, Kroil. I got it off Amazon. Stuff is amazing. I'll show you here in a second. And then I use Hornady One Shot cleaner and lubricant. This stuff is amazing. It just basically evaporates and leaves a clean residue behind. So for this video, I'm going to be cleaning my Titan, my Atlasgunworks Titan, making sure it's clear first, very important. What I do is I pull it back until the little circle area there is right over the slide lock. Take my little tool here, hook in the inside of it, pull this back, pull it apart. Now I'm not extremely methodical. I have a toolless slide, or recoil spring system. So that just locks in and comes out. Barrel pops out, forward like that. And you see how dirty this is. I mean, I'm getting it all over my hands. So I like to use the cloth I have down first as my primary clean. And then I've got another one, little microfiber here, that I'll use eventually for cleaning it all up afterwards. Now you see, I can rub all I want on this and all that carbon's not going to come off. I do have a brush here, but I'm kind of lazy, I guess, and I like to do easy the way. So I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop of this KR oil, and then I'm going to take a little deal here. I'm just going to apply it all the way around. This is absorbing all the KR oil. It doesn't take much, like literally I'm putting just about a drop on. And then the front too, I'm going to put a drop on there. And just kind of spread it around a little bit. All right, I'm going to set that aside. And I'm going to grab the lower. I'm going to do the same thing with the lower. Wow, that's got a lot of carbon. I have probably about 3,000 rounds through this. Had a bit of a training session and didn't do much in the way of cleaning it, so she's dirty. It looks good there. The rest of it will come off pretty good. And we're just going to put a drop down in here and then run this brush back and forth and see if we can just loosen all that carbon off. So this is a limited gun. It's not an open gun, but it's an Atlasgunworks, and quite frankly, my Titan Atlasgunworks is absolutely amazing. Look at how dirty that is. That's without even doing any scrubbing. So then the only other thing I do is on this, I'm just going to kind of clean this up a little bit. I want it to move freely. I'll use some of the One Shot on it here in a second, but for now we'll just do that. All right. So now that we've had a chance for that to sit, you can see how dirty my hands are already getting. A lot of guys wear gloves. I don't usually wear gloves. Probably should, but I don't. So you can see how that is. Just by rotating, spinning, a little bit of rubbing on there, it takes about 90+% off there. So I'm going to put another drop on just because. We'll let it sit. Do the same thing over here. And I mean, look at that. You go from that's already with rubbing on it, to that without any work. The carbon on the barrel, or from that to that just by rubbing on it. And a lot of that oil has actually been absorbed. So we're going to put a little bit more. So you can obviously scrub it, take your brush, rub on it. It'll speed the process up a little bit if you don't want to sit and wait. But it is built up there pretty good. We're going to let that sit again. So in here, I'd like to use my brush though to get in the grooves and everything, because everything works off of these slides right here. These two little, little wings. Get that all clean. Then clean the inside of that out good. Get as much of the big stuff out as I can. That's it. Same thing with this. Get as much of the big stuff off as I can. That looks pretty good. All right, now comes the cool part. How's that doing down here? That looks good. I'm actually going to use a pick here and get rid of some of this. I'm trying really hard not to scratch, but this is really built on there good. This doesn't seem to want to come off. There we go. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the one shot. I'm just going to spray the barrel. What that does, it takes off anything that's left. You can see the dirt coming off of it. And then when I'm all done, we'll take another microfiber and wipe it all down. What that does, it puts a little bit of a lubricant film on it as well, keeping it from, doesn't seem to tarnish as fast or get cruded as fast or any of that. Still a little bit here that's not quite coming off. I know I'll be a little anal about that. It's not even an issue at all, but I'm doing it when I was getting it off. There we go. All right. So, big difference from before and after my barrel now. Now the upper, I tend to use a lot of this on the uppers. It's not too bad. It's like $8-9, something like that. Get in here, a little bit of pressure, a little bit of spray. Now this stuff evaporates too and leaves just a little film behind on it. So the residue coming off now is, or the spray coming off was coming off pretty much clean. Jump back here. I know a lot of guys that pull the firing pin off and everything else. I do that once every, I don't know, a few weeks maybe. I'm not going to do that today. Alright, then I'm going to use a Q-tip to get in here and get anything that might be stuck and refusing to come out. There we go. I don't know if you can see, but the cleaner there is coming out actually clean, so that means that's good. All right. My extractor area is nice and clean. Good. All right. And the last thing I'm going to do is just clean this off a little bit here. Get anything off that I can. And then the lower. This is nice and dirty, but now it's coming out clean already. So if I was shooting an open gun or some other manufacturer's gun, I might have to be more thorough, clean this more often, use some more specialized tools, all this stuff. But since I am shooting an Atlasgunworks Titan, I don't have to do anything with it. It's basically, they're perfect guns. I mean, it just works. All right, there we go. Then the only other thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to clean up the port here for where the rounds come through. And then the mag well. It just helps to keep it a little bit smoother. All right, like I said, this does leave a lubricating A little bit of lubrication on there, so I like to cover everything with it. Even once it's clean, keeps it from getting rusty and tarnished and stuff like that, it seems. All right, then once that, I'll put it back together. So barrel goes in first. It just locks in. Recoil spring goes in. I love this toolless system. Just push it forward. It clicks, drops back. I gotta make sure the retention's there. All right, so then what do we do for lubrication? So I actually did not bring my gun oil with me, so I'm gonna just have to show you what I would do. Usually I have it with, but I just didn't bring it with today. It's in my bag and that's out in the truck. I don't really want to go get it. So what I would do is I would take a drop. We're just going to simulate of oil. I put a drop in the oil right here on this rail and here on this rail. And then I would turn it over and I put a drop on that rail and a drop on that rail. And when I say a drop, I mean an actual literal drop, not a big drop, not a puddle of it, just a drop. And then once it's all done, then this would lock in, just slides forward. And then I look inside, and what I'm looking for is the hole to line up with the other hole. So I gotta kind of move it back and forth a little bit. So once it's all lined up, I stick the retention pin in, put the slide lock in. Now, you can't put it together until you meet that little dot there. So then you gotta pull it back. Once that's all lined up, press it in and let go. Then what I'm gonna do is it's still not nice and pretty, so I'm gonna spray it down with a little bit more of this stuff. And wipe it down. Give it a good scrub down. This will help get off any additional junk off there. Any oil residue, any stuff on the outside of it that's not been taken off so far. It'll also take off any fingerprints or handprints or oil from my hands, so I'm going to try not to touch the slide now that I wiped it down again. Alright, there we go. That's my Atlas Titan 9mm cleaning. And here's the oils I use. Can of Croil and Hornady One Shot.